You could also go the route of sprinkling in lore when needed throughout the story. I've seen podcasts do that where they talk about lore like you're supposed to know but explain it later. And I mean, that is kind of what I've been doing with Cast Off. They call that like organic storytelling. That is something that I try to do. It's very difficult. Doing a bad job at getting that information across is, you can recognize a writer who is struggling when you have characters who already know all of the information that they're about to say. Say something like, well, as you know, the world actually works like this. Anytime a character in a piece of media says, as you know, I'm like, okay, they know it. So why are you explaining it? The answer is they're explaining it for the audience because the audience doesn't know what's going on. But once you stop and think about it, it's like, this character has no reason to be going off on this tangent. Once you start noticing that, it will drive you crazy. But it's so hard not to do because that's just like an easy way to, you know, get the point across to your audience. But I have like avoided it like the plague. Especially in Cast Off too, because, you know, Cast Off has like fantasy elements and fantasy world building, but I have gone out of my way very much to be like, we are getting a slice of this universe through the eyes of these characters. So if this is not something that these characters would organically say in this moment, they're not going to say it. The characters are not going to drop everything to exposit a little bit to the audience. Basically, you pick up on the hints I'm putting out, or you get left in the dust. Fantasy is so hard. So many words are Christian, and how did Christianity get here if it doesn't exist? Yeah, that's like another thing. It's like, Jesus Christ as a swear has just like such a good mouthfeel. Nothing else hits as hard. But if you're in a universe that doesn't have Christianity, it makes no sense to use that as a swear. Damn it! Actually, a fun thing, a little tidbit, a little crunchy tidbit of lore that I put in Cast Off and that no one seems to have commented on, which is fine because it's very subtle. All of the characters, save for one, are from a culture with a monotheistic religion. The main religion practiced in the main country that Cast Off takes place in. It's a monotheistic, they have one god, but she's goddess. And so a lot of characters will say like, goddess, are you okay? Like kind of how you would say God in like our thing. It's just like, oh my God, are you okay? But instead all the characters will say, oh my goddess, are you okay? With one exception. Frankie doesn't say that. Frankie does say stuff like, oh my God. I think he has said it a couple times in the comic because he is from a different country that does not have the same religion. So, you know, go back and reread chapter 5 and you'll catch some of that little nonsense, little tidbits. Some itty bitty little bits that I threw in there that no one's ever noticed or commented on, but you know, I thought just a little detail. Yippee. Something toilets in Cast Off. We don't have to talk about the toilets in Cast Off, okay? This is like the exact opposite of what I just talked about. You know, I love to do a little tidbit when it's relevant to the story, and this is somewhat relevant to the story because it changes how the characters speak. But none of the characters in Cast Off are ever gonna go to the bathroom, so I don't have to figure out how the internal plumbing works. So we don't have to worry about how the people in Cast Off poop. There's just hypothetical toilets, but I don't know what they look like because I'm never gonna show them in the comic. I am a very economic world builder. I'm like, listen, if it's never gonna come up in the comic, I'm not gonna spend time on it. Don't look over there, look at me. Look at the important stuff that I actually developed and not how the internal plumbing works. I don't care about that. I care about the silly little linguistics thing. Look at my silly little linguistics things. Don't look at the toilets that I didn't bother to actually invent. I mean, it's not necessary, but it is cute to analyze further details. See, I analyze further details when it matters to the narrative, but aside from that, I don't give a shit. I don't need to figure out how plumbing works in my fantasy universe. I can let some nerd figure that out for me. I can let people have their headcanons. I'm not gonna bother with that shit, though. Literally.